Hello geo lovers, welcome to my channel. In the last video, I took you through a tour of the QGIS software. We looked at the various panels, the layer tab, the browser. We looked at the menu and toolbars, pretty much. But we didn't, so up to now, we didn't do any work, and that is the purpose of this video. This video, we are actually going to dive into the QGIS software. We would connect to data, we would bring in data into our software, we would display and visualize data, we would change some, look at the properties, and we are going to export data also into various formats. So we are going to have fun. If you are new into my channel, please subscribe, turn on the notification button, like, and then stay updated. All right, now I have my QGIS software opened, and what I would ask you to do is to make sure that you have your browser and layer tab activated. Go to view and then go to panels, and then ensure browser and layers are activated. Awesome. Now, whenever I'm working on a new project, I want to have a folder or a directory for every project and connect my software to it so that I can easily interact with my data, with my content without struggling. And to do that, I have created a folder. I have a folder called GIS, and I have a project folder lesson 1, and I have moved the data that I'll be working with. It's a geodatabase, SG geodatabase, and I have that selected. It could be any other database format. All right, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect it into the browser. On favorite, I'll add it as favorite. I'll right click, add directory, and go into the folder that contains my data, projects and lesson 1. Select the folder, not the content, the folder that contains the content, and I'll select the folder. Now I have my data connected to the favorites in my browser. What I'm going to do next, I've expanded the data. I have 2 layers, a boundary data, which is polygon, and a torus side data, which is point. I'm going to select both of them, and I'll click and drag into the layer panel. And there you go, my data is displayed. I can change the symbology, okay, but I think I like the contrast that I get. The fact that the point data, it's easily visual. I can easily visualize it on the polygon data. Now let's just play with the symbology. Now before you start doing anything like symbology or whatever, you want to investigate what data are you working with. I will right click, I'll start with the boundary data, and I will go to the attribute table, and you just do a quick inspection just to be sure that you are working with the correct data. Everything is fine. It's 16 regions of Ghana, and then I can do the same thing for the tourist site. All right, great. Now next thing, let's go into the properties of our data. I'll go into properties. Before that, let me just drag this map here, and I'll go to properties. This is where I can look at the data source, the symbology, the labeling, fields, and so on. So I can look at the data information, look at the coordinate reference system I'm working with. All right. Then I can also look at the source, the data source. Okay. I can look at the symbology. Over here, I can change the symbology. Maybe I can change the color. All right, and then I can apply, it changes the color. Yeah. Then I can also look at the labels. Over here, I can select single label and then pick the field that I want to use for the labeling. And then I can apply. All right, when I do OK. Okay, so you can see that my data has been labeled, but I don't like this labeling, so I'll just edit it a little bit. So I'll go to properties. Okay, now I would prefer, instead of using this labeling style, I would rather want to use maybe a rule-based labeling, because that gives me more, gives me more customization. I'll remove this. Okay, so usually you have it blank over here, and so once you have it blank, you would have to, if you want to apply a rule-based labeling, then you have to have a label there. So I can click to add a label, and I can just I can just say tourist, or let me just say site label. Okay, and just a label, that's all. Then over here I can pick, okay, the font style that I want to use, the size, and so on. The formatting, because the region has a dark labeling, I can decide to maybe either give it a buffer or something. But before that, I would want to use a white color instead, because a light color instead, because it's already dark at the background. So I think I want to use this. Okay, and when I do OK and apply, okay, so it won't show anything because I haven't applied any rule. Okay, so I will configure a rule. Okay, so I'll just add a rule, and then I'll just say pull labels towards features. Okay, and this, so I just want the labels to be as close to the feature as possible, and I'll just do OK, and I should apply. All right, okay, it should be here, and let's see. Oh, okay, so I think I figured out what was happening. So though I had selected the rule-based labeling, I was applying the rules without first showing the label. So I'll first add the label star. Okay, so the label. Okay, so I'll just call this sites label. Okay, so I'm trying to add the label first. Okay, the label, then I can apply the rules. Okay, so over here I'm just going to show the label, and don't forget to show which label name you are going to use. Okay, then I would want to have a dark background on a white, white on a dark background. So the text, I would use white, and for the background, I'll draw a background and I'll use dark. All right, so I can now visualize it here, and then I would say OK. All right, so if I apply, you see that it's shown here. Then I can add a rule. I will remove this. Okay, select this, and then I'll remove this. Then I can add a new rule, and I will say, I would want to do prevent labels from overlapping features. Okay, and label from tourist and must not overlap boundary. All right, and then so what I'm trying to say here is that I don't want this field where you have the labels overlapping the boundaries, because the labels are big, and when you have a base layer, okay, and you zoom in very small, we are working on a computer, then the labels are staying big and overlapping. I don't want that. All right, so the labels should show maybe within, all right, and not okay, all right, let me see. No, I think this is rather wrong, sorry, because it would obviously overlap. Yeah, so I'll just say okay, so okay, let's try this and see what we got. If I do this, okay, then if I do this, okay, I think what we did was correct. I mean, you can see the layers are clearly not overlapping. Okay, so it's correct. Let's zoom in, and so you can see the dynamics we are having here. All right, okay. So yeah, that is it. I think we could have just we could have just done more, but we'll look more at labeling in another video. All right, so let's not waste so much time. What else can we do? All right, so now I was just showing you how to connect the data directly, but then when you want to bring in data separately, you can always do that. You can use this data source manager, and then you can pick which data you want to bring in. Okay, so let me try and bring in a geo package. Okay, I can bring in a geo package. I think it's already connected. I have a geo package already there, so I can also bring that in. But then let's just go ahead and do something. Let's export our data. So we currently have the tourist site. Okay, so let's say I want this data in Excel or a spreadsheet. I can right click the layer, go to export, save features as, and this is where the magic is. Over here, I can have any format I want. Okay, I can export it in any format. Notice that I have a lot, so I can say CSV, and I'll just have to pick where I want to save the data. I'll save it in my projects, lesson 1, and I'll call this tourist site. Okay, tourist site CSV. And what else do I need to do? So I can specify which fields I want to export. And yeah, I'll just leave it as it is, and I'll just say okay. So here we'll add the data to the map. I'll just say okay, and there you go. I have my Excel sheet, spreadsheet here, CSV. So I'm just going to open this in maybe Google. Okay, I just want to open it in Google Spreadsheet. Okay, I'm just going to open it in. All right, and I have a blank. So I'll just import it from my data, what I just exported, just to show you. All right, so projects, lesson 1, and tourist sites, and let's see what we have here. And voila, so you can see I have the data, long, large, and so on, and I can bring this data in and display it in QGIS. So you see that we are doing a whole lot. if you are ArcGIS online lover, I even have ArcGIS connected to it, so you can connect your ArcGIS online account and then use the data. Okay, so I have a plugin here called QGIS, so Argol connector. You can search it, Argol ArcGIS online, and you can install it, and then you can log in, which I have done. Okay, so if I have any data in ArcGIS online, I can bring it. All right, guys, so this is all that I wanted to show you. You can export the data to any format that you want. I just don't want to make this video too long, and I will see you in another video where we are going to do some maybe geoprocessing on our data. See you.